What's up, everybody? This is Neon Dream Games, and this week I've got a tutorial for you on how to deal with some issues regarding the texture progress bar in Godot. So stick around. All right, as I said, this week I was working on a game and I had created a progress bar. I'll pull it up here for you. I'll share my screen. So in Aseprite, I made this progress bar. The red part here is the progress bar. In fact, we can see, so that's the progress bar. We've got the main artwork and I've got the back art there. So that corresponds to the different layers in a texture progress bar in Godot. I saved each one of those as a separate PNG, and in Godot, I'll just create a new texture progress bar. And we can see over here in the textures, you've got an under, over, and progress. So I have my progress bar over, so we'll drag that there. I've got the under, we'll drag that there, and I created this the way I originally did it. I'll drag that there. So right now, as you see, you can't see the progress bar, and that is because right now we have our minimum value in the range set to 0, our maximum to 100, and the value is currently 0. So if I start raising that value up, you're not seeing it. You're not seeing it. It's getting it 20. Oh, there it starts showing up. So I was running into this problem, and even here it fills the bar at around 98 when it should be full at 100, but I'm not seeing it. It's not filling up the way I would want it to. Like this should be right here. This should be 0, but its value is currently 26. So that is a problem. And I looked high and low for another person explaining this, and I couldn't find anything. I checked, ChatGPT, asked those kind of questions. I still couldn't find a solution to this problem. But I did notice that the progress offset here says the offset of a texture progress, useful for texture over and texture under with fancy borders to avoid transparent margins in your progress texture. I didn't quite understand what that meant at first, so I played around with it. Let's put my progress bar in here. So I thought, okay, let's mess around with that. I can offset it, but it still doesn't really solve the problem. It just moves it. So it took me a bit of figuring out on my own, but I realized that when I saved this in Aseprite, I have it all perfectly lined up so that it will just be able to, throw in here into the proper texture spots under the texture progress bar. Everything should be good to go. But what I didn't realize is the way that the texture progress bar works is that it counts the starting value at the left side of the image. So like in this case, the left side of the image is here, but there's this gap at this point of transparent image, and that's where you get that point where at 26, or in this case 27, it starts to show up. That's because that's the first point in which the value hits that point. And then the same at the end, because there's just a little smidge of transparency at the end. It fills up at, I think it was 97 or 98. So there's still a little space further. To fix that, I found out that you need to create a progress bar all by itself. So I had to create a new file with the progress bar where the left and right it's right up to the edge of the progress bar. There's no transparency, there's no gap. So I saved that and brought that into Godot, and we put that in the progress bar slot. So now you can see as it comes in, it's in the wrong place as far as being aligned with my progress bar here. And that is where the progress offset comes in. So you can then slide this over to where it needs to be. Let's, we'll say about there, looks close. And since we're maybe 31 might be right for the X, and then we drag it down, and let's just say that looks like about 9. So now it's all lined up, and you see I'm still at 98, but I can reset the value to 0, and now when I start raising it up, the progress bar fills properly all the way to 100, and it's complete. So I hadn't seen any tutorials talk about that. I have seen several tutorials bring up how to create a texture progress bar, but they didn't explain when you have, in this case, Godot says fancy borders. So this progress bar has a fancy border by having this extra stuff. And that's how you solve that problem. You can't have transparency in your image for the progress bar itself. You need to make sure that the progress bar starts as far to one side of the image to the other side of the image. And of course you can do the fill mode, and you can do like right to left, and you can change that stuff. So I mean, however you want to do it, but either way it has to be no transparencies within the image itself. And you'll have to use the progress offset to realign where the progress bar goes with your over and under textures. And yeah, that's what I found out. That's it. Hopefully that's going to help somebody out that might have been in the same position I was in, trying to answer that question for my own self. And I probably spent a good hour or hour and a half trying to solve that problem and understand it. And that's just part of learning programming, learning how to make a game. And this is my first tutorial, I guess. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Sorry if it's a little long-winded, but I just wanted to explain how I first came upon this problem and then how I eventually worked it out to solve it. So if you have any questions or any comments, leave that in the comments and I will try to get back to you. If there's any other way to do this that I didn't know about or anything, also leave that in the comments. I'm always eager to learn more tips and tricks for my own self. Hopefully this is a tip and trick for you guys. And make sure to like and subscribe to the video. I don't know if I'll do more tutorials, but maybe once in a while I might do a tutorial here and there. That's it for this week. So until next time, keep YouTubing it up.
Thanks for checking out Neon Dream Games channel. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button so you can stay up to date on all the latest videos we have to offer. Don't forget to leave a comment to suggest what kind of videos you'd like to see more of in the future. See you in the next video.